Most of the country has now opened up with the second wave of the pandemic receding. Is the time right for many of you looking to buy a home to step out and start your house hunt? Today on the Property Show, we look at data and speak to experts to see what the demand, supply and price forecast is to help you make better decisions. My panel, Baman Irani, CMD Rustomjee Group, C. Prabhakar, Director, Gopalan Group, Amit Bhagat, CEO, MD, ASK Property Investments Advisors, and Siva Krishnan, Managing Director, Residential Services, JLL India. Before I begin with the gentlemen, let me just look at the data sourced from JLL Research. Now, if you look at the second quarter of last year, April-June 2020, when the country went into a sudden lockdown, and compare it with the 2021 quarter when we again were forced into a lockdown with a much deadlier wave, the data shows that home demand and supply has been far less affected this time around. Last year, both new launches and sales fell by over 60% quarter on quarter, and this year they've shrunk by about 20%. The entire first 6 months of 2021 have fared much better than January-June 2020. There's been a 10% increase in new launches in the first half of 2021 compared to the first half of 2020. And sales have been better at 18% increase. Now, let me just get the ground reality. Baman, the first thing is to look at data, but the second is to find out, was the second pandemic much better for all of you? And really, was it a healthier scene when it came to demand and supply?
Oh, hey, Manisha, thank you for the show. I want to just say this, that the first time the pandemic hit, we read about it in the papers. We used to see people getting affected in distant places. The second round, which started off, at least in Maharashtra, we were facing a lockdown, was in April. And at that point of time, it was hitting home. It was hitting closer home, and people were losing their lives or winding up in hospitals, etc. All the reports that you're talking about are I think, because of the government soft, and I can speak about Maharashtra, and the fact that the stamp duty advantage that was given to the customers was a big buy-in. Customers were very happy with the fact that it had dropped stamp duty by 3% and then by 2% between Jan and March. June has opened up again. We are hopeful that things will improve, but Mumbai faces its rains in June, and if there is any weekend that has heavy showers, then we will see that customers aren't walking. So it's too early to predict for me, but I can say this, that home demand should be very strong. Reasons. One is interest rates are at their all-time low. Developers have not increased over the past and overall, this should be an advantageous time for for homeowners to buy.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, what's your sense for the Bengaluru market? Have the home buyers did they completely stop in April and May? But are you beginning to see a trickle back?
No, Manisha, compared to 2020, this year the second wave, the sector has shown remarkable resilience. Mm-hmm. If you see the first quarter, close to 8,000 flats has been sold, and now the projection is around 3,560, is somewhere around that, which I feel is a great 20% growth compared to last year.
Okay.
This is because a few of the things which the sector has learned from the first wave, and most important is the construction activity has not stopped this lockdown. Mm-hmm. The construction activity this year has been categorized as an essential service category. So the construction didn't stop, the migrant workers didn't go back. So this has helped the industry to move continuous. But though there's a lot of wait and watch situation with the customers, but they are making the first move.
All right. Shiva, just break down the data for us. If the data showing that the second lockdown actually has been more benign and kinder, and Mr. Prabhakar has said that construction did not stop, do you believe that at least now that we've opened up, demand's likely to come back as forcefully as it did in December quarter or the January quarter last year?
The lockdown happened in different cities in different times. And compared to last year, the first COVID surge, where the lockdown was consistent and uniform at one point of time, and the quarter one of this year has been much better than what was last year. And say, for example, bank lockdown happened much later than what happened in May. Similar is the case in Chennai. Similar is the case in other cities also. So the lockdown was not uniform. So macro numbers is a different picture. But as Oman rightly said, has been a weakening of demand in last time, especially quarter two. But four attributes why we feel that the momentum will sustain and will pick up as for one, as rightly picked up the other panelists, the loan rates all-time low, 1 decade. Second aspect is stability in pricing. No developer has actually increased the price in last month's time. The third aspect I strongly believe is that the urge to own a home is at an all-time high. And India is an end-use market. Typically 80-85% of home buyers are end users. And they feel there's an opportunity here. They sense an opportunity here to enter with housing loan coming.
All right. Amit Bhagat, if I look at what's happening across the globe, you read a headline, there's a boom in housing in US, UK, Australia, China. You have a investor like Blackstone re-entering the rental housing market. But then you get a CRISIL report which says that, sure, things will become better, but for India to actually reach that stage of probably pre-pandemic demand, we will take as long as 2023. Is that correct?
I guess Q1, if you look at Q1 21 Jan to March, we have approximately sold in 6 cities lakh of units in the primary market, which is one of the highest. But yes, it was driven by more by Maharashtra because of stamp duty. Other states were not as lucky. So NCR had just picked up in January to March. NCR was lagging behind in the entire 20 when other markets were slightly better. So I think developer and the projects are impacted by, every project is leveraged. So interest cost is being borne by the developer. Labor was held at site, but the labor count came down, and we have projects in Chennai, Bangalore, Pune. What we realized that the labor has come down by almost 50 to 60% of the pre-second wave situation. But I guess the demand will come back once the economic situation improves. I think buyer has not gone anywhere, and that is proved in 2020, and 21 will also display the same data or maybe better than that. But the economy has to recover, and the scare of the third wave has to go away. See, the commodity prices are going up, labor cost has gone up, 50% reverse migration happened, and the labor has started coming back now. Right. But economic development and the scare of third wave will decide whether the fence sitter will come into and start buying, or they will continue to sit at the fence.
Okay. So, Mr. Prabhakar, I think Bangalore market has probably been the most resilient also because of the ITS sector has not got that affected at all by this economic meltdown that we've seen. Very quickly, what's happening in terms of the delays? Now, there are buyers who already have bought into projects. And again, in the CREDAI survey, I think 90% developers have said that they will face some delays in deliveries. Is that how your projects are also, you're looking at your projects like a little bit delay in the deliveries that you'd promised earlier?
No, delay will definitely be there, Manisha, because there has been a lockdown and certain projects have been affected. Their general flow has been affected. But one good thing is the construction activity keeping pace to some extent in lockdown, because once you shut it down, to restart becomes very, very difficult. But this has really helped us gain momentum because the workers are still there.
Okay.
But I feel with prudent financial backup, liquidity status to be controlled, material supplies on time, and the technology being involved in construction now, I don't see much of delay, because as long as people are buying, speeding up construction is not a problem.
Okay.
I feel as long as the sales are there, finishing projects on time should not be an issue at all.
All right, that's heartening to note, Shiva. Now let's come down to what everybody actually asks me, and I don't have a crystal ball to give them any answer. What about the prices? If I look at the unsold inventory, it's still at about 4.75 lakh units, according to the data that you've shared with us. but the prices haven't moved up, but they haven't also gone down. If you inflation adjusted, you can say they're cheaper today than they were about 4 years ago. But there has not been much of a movement in prices. With commodity prices hardening and land prices actually coming down, where will it settle?
So Manisha, look at in a normal time. What was the kind of numbers which used to happen on a year-on-year basis on an all-India perspective? 7 cities, close to about 150,000, 200,000 units per annum, which has shrunk to about 80,000 to about 100,000 units as of today because of pandemic, because of weakened market. And the total inventory is close to about 470,000 units. So if we come back to the momentum, which I believe that with all the attributes are pointing towards a comeback, as Amit rightly said, the economy needs to come back to the normal GDP growth. If these two things comes back and also the end user impact in the market, if the overhang inventory at this juncture is only about 3 years, and any project typically takes about 3 to 4 years to complete. That's one aspect. So the inventory overheating is not very high compared to what used to be about 3-4 years back. And with RERA, demonetization, all the tsunamis we had seen in 2017, 2018, GST and other aspects, disruptions were there. The supply side has been coming down for the last 3-4 years, and pandemic has actually accelerated the supply. In fact, if you see some of the micro markets, some of the locations across cities, there is a lack of inventory in certain sizing and certain types. Mm-hmm. This is an indication saying that the demand for certain types and certain sizing has actually gone beyond what is available in certain micro market. And I strongly believe that if this trend continues and if this momentum picks up or sustain, like what used to be in quarter 3, quarter 4 of 2020, the price points will start slowly inching up.
Amit, do you agree to that there is any pricing power that developers have in terms of being able to raise prices? Or is it just for certain products in certain micro markets?
I think once you will not fit all. It depends on the leverage of the project and the developer. It will be a function of what is a particular micro market supply and demand. So if it is an established suburb and the demand is matching the supply and the developer is less leveraged, he will definitely try and raise the prices if his cash flows and month-on-month sales are more than the projected. But if it is not, then he'll be under pressure and he will not be able to reduce prices. Yes, the cost of material labor definitely has gone up, and interest borne for second wave and first wave has added to the cost. So, ideally, yes, he should increase the prices because if he has to maintain the margin or salvage the margin. But at the same time, it is his leverage at the project level and at the company level and the micro market demand and supply which will decide. I will still repeat the same thing. It will be not one shoe fits all. We have seen very prudent and large corporate developers trying to firm up the prices. And there are certain markets where prices have also gone up even in the last year.
Absolutely. In fact, one of the largest developers in North India has been able to raise prices of plotted developments by 30%. So product and micro market. Gentlemen, stay with us. I think Baman raised right up front the point of stamp duties. Now, Maharashtra saw a phenomenal acceleration in sales, and despite the stamp duty cut, actually the government made more revenues. With the second pandemic and effects on real estate demand and supply, should other states be considering a stamp duty reduction? Is that magic wand that the residential sector needs in India to pick up? Stay with us. Welcome back. We are looking at the residential sector in India to find out what's been the effect on demand, supply and prices of the second wave of the pandemic. And as we come out of the lockdown, will home buyers return in the same big numbers as they did in the last year of the pandemic lockdowns ending? I'm going to come to you, Baman, very quickly. Stamp duty in Maharashtra, as you said right in the beginning, was a big reason why Maharashtra clocked some fantastic numbers till March. And then I also heard developers saying, why not extend it? There has been that math proven that stamp duty reduction actually does not bring the state revenues down. But do you believe that other states should also be doing it? Is that a large enough demand, and will that be that magic mantra that the housing sector needs?
The proof of the pudding is definitely in the eating, Manisha. We don't need to speak about it. It's for everybody to see. I think any impetus given by the state government is considered, or by the government basically, is considered as an impetus for growth. I can tell you this, that there was a desire to buy homes post the pandemic, the first round, and that just got super compounded by the reduction of stamp duty. And people actually thought it was the right time to go out there and choose a home of their choice. And, I think one of our panelists mentioned that ready homes actually sold at a premium price. People were ready to go out and pay extra to get a home that was ready or nearly ready. And if I may make a prediction on your show, come August this year, around Ganpati, you will see a tremendous surge again in buying. And now this statement, it comes with a caveat. Provided Delta Plus, which is the variant that has been discovered now, is kept under control and does not really run riot, you will see a tremendous buying taking place. And I can speak about my micro market, tremendous buying taking place around this August. And I think that we will even see prices go up because developers are not making more money when they are raising the prices. It's only about, managing their costs, and the costs are up tremendously.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Prabhakar, you want to come in on that in terms of the price outlook? Do you think that you have the pricing power as demand will return? I mean, Baman is saying by August, barring the fact, and I'm keeping my fingers and toes crossed, we don't have that third wave. Do you believe that you will have room to increase prices?
No, definitely there could be a premium for ready-built properties so the risk is less. But I don't see any price going up. Builders have to work with no margin or so, because there's no question the steel prices are way through the roof, and we have so many other incidental expenses which have come up. But I feel this year the builders have to sustain with no profit.
Okay.
Like last year.
What about stamp duty? What's your view on that, Mr. Prabhakar? I mean, Karnataka reduced the stamp duty, but only for flats at the lower income level, I think 45 lakhs and below. Could they have extended it? I mean, is that something that you as a developer and the entire CREDAI body would want? I mean, of course, everyone wants lower prices, but is that a big demand?
No, definitely what we have seen in Mumbai, the reduction in stamp duty further will definitely help this market. The recent report says 80% of potential buyers are waiting for the stamp duty to go down.
Wow.
So that's another thing. The buyers have seen other states reducing the price. So today, not many people are coming forward to buy because they are waiting for some reduction from the government. I think government reducing 1 or 2% of the stamp duty will really help people coming forward and taking the step to book a flat.
Okay.
But they have to do a lot more incentive should be given between that 20 to 40 lakhs range flats, lot more I feel, because that is a sector which is doing very, very well in Bangalore. But I feel a lot more, the government can do a lot more to improvise that section.
Fair enough. Amit Bhagat, this has been a demand of the industry saying, see, there are approval delays which cost the industry, but the taxes are pretty high as well. I mean, 30% of the cost of a house goes into just paying taxes and development charges. Is this a valid demand? Bring down the stamp duty. Why not in this year when real estate has such an accelerating effect on the economy?
I think I agree with the developer community, because if you look at it, a limited period incentive has worked wonders in Maharashtra. Pune and Mumbai are classic examples how the demand has and the absorption numbers are with you. Every state needs this limited period incentive to counter the cost which has gone up because of commodity prices, increased interest burden because of wave 1, wave 2, and developers haven't got any benefit. So a reduction in development charges, premiums, which is also a welcome step taken by Maharashtra, should be taken by other states to incentivize developers to bear the additional cost during this pandemic. At the same time, incentivize the end user, fence sitters, to come and close their transactions.
Fair enough.
It'll be a win-win, and it will spur up the economic growth at the same time.
Baman, any worry at all that interest rate cycles might turn because there are inflationary pressures? Globally, I mean, we're talking about the fact that maybe we've seen the best of the inflation, the best of the low interest regime, and with inflation coming back, do you think that party could end, the home loan party?
I'm sure hoping not, Manisha, because one of the major drivers is the cost of money that is keeping home buyers enthused to buy homes. But other than that, Manisha, I think there's a lot of things that the government can do at this moment in time to increase the home buying. There could be certain tax advantages that are given for a second home. There could be certain tax breaks that are given to people who want to upgrade their homes and buy a larger home. We could give tax holidays to people if they're investing in real estate.
So Baman, one question which I should have asked earlier, but I'm going to ask you now. You know, every time there is a pandemic or any kind of big event, the projects do get delayed, and these delays are not in control of the developers. People have this question, why do we need to sell under construction projects? Why don't we only sell a ready project?
Good question, Manisha, but I don't think this works anywhere internationally. People like to buy when things are under construction because buying a home is not like buying a car. You know, you get the colors you want when you want. You know, at best, if you have to wait for a color, you'll wait for a week or 10 days. A home is all about location, where it is in the building, and I'm speaking of my buildings. You know, the floors that you want. You sometimes want a particular view. You sometimes want to be in a particular building that has got Vastu enhancement. You know, in certain apartments will have it, in certain won't. Ideally, if buying a home was buying like buying a shirt or a car or even a motorcycle, I think this would work. But under construction homes will continue to sell. I think with the advent of RERA, with the strengthening of RERA as we go along, it's been 5 years now. I see that home buyers have a lot of faith in the authority, and they're certain that the homes will be delivered in time. Extensions, if any, are paid for by the developer. So overall, I don't see this trend passing away. I don't see it going away.
Fair enough. Well, that's another discussion on why the home buyer ends up taking an inordinate burden of a delay. But that's for another day. On that note, I'm going to thank all of you gentlemen, Mr. Prabhakar, Amit Bhagat, Shiva and Baman. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always going to be a discussion on what's going to happen to demand, supply and of course prices of homes going forward. Is this the right time to buy? Well, if you want to upgrade or you want your first home, probably not a better time. Thanks so much for watching and goodbye.